Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about all of the books that I want to read this fall. So I have big stacks in front of me of some of the books that I would really love to read in the fall season. Lots of spooky books, lots of fantasy. So I'm really excited to talk about them all with you, so let's get started. So the first books that I want to talk about are some Cassandra Clare books. So there is currently the Shadowhunters read-along going on that is hosted by Lisa, Darian, and Casey. I will link their channels down below. So September's book is the Bane Chronicles. This is by Cassandra Clare, Sarah Reese Brennan, and Maureen Johnson. So I've already read one story from this. I read this years ago. I've never actually read the entire short story collection. It's just never really been a big priority for me, but I would really like to get to this one in September specifically, obviously for the Shadowhunter read-along. I've heard very mixed things about this one, unfortunately, so I guess we'll see how I feel, but I can say I was not super impressed with that first story that I read. So then October's book for that read-along is City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is obviously the sixth and final book in the Mortal Instruments series. It is a behemoth of a book. I'm gonna be reading it obviously in October, but I'm quite nervous about it because I have a lot of books that I want to read in October, but I've never reread this book. I'm really looking forward to finally getting around to it because I'm pretty sure this is my favorite in the entire series, next to like the first one, just because of like the good memories and like nostalgia attached to that one. But I'm pretty sure this is like the best in the series and just my actual favorite, so I'm very excited to reread it. And then this isn't a part of the Shadowhunter read-along, at least not yet. They're going to be reading this book at some point next year, but I want to do my Cassie Clare catch-up part 2, which will include the Bane Chronicles and then the Lost Book of the White by Cassandra Clare and Wesley Chu. These are the last two books that I have to read in the Shadowhunter Chronicles that are like currently published, and so I figured might as well just throw this book into the mix as well so I can do that video. If you did not see part 1, by the way, I will link it somewhere for you because I love that video. It is one of my absolute favorite vlogs I've ever done, so I'm very excited for the second part to it featuring this book and obviously the Bane Chronicles. Okay, so then I have a huge stack of like some spooky books that I will be primarily reading in October, but also some in the end of September here. So the first one is Angelica Frankenstein Makes Her Match by Sally Thorne. This is a really new release. I have it from the library right now. Sally Thorne wrote one of my favorite romance novels, The Hating Game. All I know about it is Frankenstein's sister Angelica wants to make her perfect match, so she ends up making her own monster. And I didn't even know this book existed, but I attended an HCC Frenzy event and they had a little video from Sally Thorne talking about this book, and I believe the house that's in this book, which I think is where the Frankensteins live, is actually like a dollhouse that Sally Thorne has, and she based this house on her dollhouse. And I just immediately when I heard that, I was like, I need to read this book because I'm just so fascinated by like weird houses, especially if there's like a little model version of it. I don't know why I love that so much, but I'm so intrigued, so I'm planning on reading this very, very soon. And then we have Small Town Big Magic. This is by Hazel Beck. This is an ARC copy, but it came out at the end of August. I don't really know anything about it except that it gives me the X-Hex vibes, and I believe our main character is a witch. I don't know if she knows she's a witch. I don't think she does, but I believe she is a bookstore owner, which has me hooked, so I'm really looking forward to this one, and I think it's the perfect fall Halloween-y read, so I'm really looking forward to this one and hoping that I love it. Speaking of the X-Hex, I want to reread the X-Hex by Erin Sterling. I read this on Halloween last year and I absolutely adored it. It's one of my favorite romances of all time and is perfect for Halloween time. The companion novel to this is actually coming out very soon, so I'm gonna want to do a reread of this anyways to prepare for that book, but I am literally so excited to reread this one. I've been waiting all year to do it, honestly. It just has all the best vibes, which is small town, like Stars Hollow kind of vibes. I'm a big fan of this book, and so I'm literally so ready to reread it. Like I said, I've been waiting for the past year to do a reread, so I'm very excited. The next book is Now Entering Adamsville by Francesca Zappia. This is a book that has been on many TBRs around this time of the year and I've never gotten around to it, but I'm really hoping that this is the year that I finally get to it. Don't know a whole lot about it though. I just know that there are ghosts, which has me sold already, and it's written by Francesca Zappia, who wrote one of my favorite books of all time, Eliza and Her Monsters. So I have faith in her stories and in her writing, and I feel like I'm gonna absolutely adore this. So it's just a matter of me actually sitting down and reading it, which I'm hoping to do fairly soon actually. The next book is The Glass Witch by Lindsay Puckett. This is also an ARC and it comes out October 18th. I am so beyond excited for this book. I've followed Lindsay Puckett's journey on YouTube for years now, saw the whole process of this book, and I am just so excited for her. So this one is comped to Dumplin' meets Hocus Pocus, and that just sounds like everything I could ever want and more. The main character looks so cute, and I'm so excited to read about her and learn more about her story. I just think that this is going to be the absolute perfect spooky Halloween-y read. Like, the Dumplin' comp comes from there being a pageant in this book, and it's a Halloween pageant. So, I mean, it's perfect for this time of year. I'm really excited to get to it. It's super short, so I should be able to read it fairly quickly. And I am literally so excited for this one. I do plan on doing a reading vlog that includes this book, Now Entering Adamsville, Angelica Frankenstein, and also Small Town Big Magic. We've got a big spooky reading vlog coming your way. I cannot wait to read this book. The next book is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. This is the October book club pick for my new book club, Besties and Books, that I've started with one of my best friends, Alyssa. I'll leave her channel down below for you guys to check out. Our Twitter for the book club is also down below. But this is our October book, so we will be doing a live show on this probably in the beginning of November. But I am absolutely so excited for this book. Basically about our main character who's a ghostwriter, and she has to go back to her hometown to help prepare for her father's funeral. But her book editor ends up showing up at their house or at the funeral parlor that they own, but he's a ghost. So naturally it's a romance novel, so they fall in love, which just sounds amazing. So I'm literally so excited for this book. I love Ashley Poston, and I'm really excited that it's the first book for my new book club. So I hope you guys are excited for the book club. Hope you will join in with us. But I'm literally like, I'm itching to read this book. Can it be October already? And the last few spooky books are some childhood books I figured would just be kind of fun to like throw into the mix for next month. So it's these ones. So we have Spiderwick. This is the first book, The Field Guide. I have not read this since I was a child. I actually don't even know if I like it. I think I liked it when I was a kid. I think I liked the movie as well. I honestly can't remember, but I figured it's so short. Like, I think it's just over 100 pages. We have some full page illustrations in here. The font is a decent size, so I feel like this would take me like probably a half hour to read. So why not just throw it on the TBR? It seems like a spooky little time, you know. I'm excited for it nonetheless. I also believe there is a new adaptation coming out of this, and I think they're filming it in my city. I think Christian Slater is in it, so I'm very excited. I thought it was about time that I do a reread of this. And then we have The Beasts of Clawstone Castle by Eva Botson. This was one of my favorite books growing up. It's basically about these two kids who get sent to Clawstone Castle, and they end up turning it into a haunted house when they discover all of these ghosts who live there. So it's like a genuine haunted house. I don't remember a whole lot about it. I remember some of the ghosts that are here on the cover. I tried rereading this a couple years ago. I made it up to chapter 3, so I will be starting from the beginning in October, but I'm just really excited to reread this. I hope I still love it. So I'm super excited to read this children's novel all about ghosts and haunted houses. It's everything that I love, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And then the last one is just Casper, the Friendly Ghost and Friends. This is a comic volume just full of different like Casper comics. I don't know why I decided to add this to my TBR, but I thought, why not? Casper the Friendly Ghost, we all know and love him. And I just feel like this is going to be a good time. I have not read this in years, and I thought it'd be kind of fun just to like maybe read on Halloween or something. Okay, so now time for some just like general fantasy kind of books. So the first one is The Dark King by Gina L. Maxwell. This was an ARC sent to me by Entangled Publishing. They sent it to me unsolicited, but I'm actually really interested in it. It's about a Fae King, and I think our main character accidentally gets married to the Fae King on like a trip to Vegas, but I don't think she knows that he's the Fae King right away. So it just seems like a fun time. I haven't read a book about Fae in quite a while, so I think this could be kind of fun. So I thought I would just throw it on the TBR. I hope that I can get to it, but it's not a super huge priority. But this does come out at the end of September, so I do hope to get to this. I'm thinking it's most likely that I'll get to it in November if I do get to it. The next book is Lost in the Neverwoods by Aiden Thomas. This is a book that I believe is on my 2022 TBR, and I loved Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, so I don't know why I haven't read this book book yet. I think it came out last year. But this one's like a kind of Peter Pan retelling. Wendy and her brothers go missing, but Wendy comes back and she has like no memory, and then I think other children start to go missing. I could be wrong, but I love Peter Pan, and I think that this would be a fun fantasy book to read in the autumn season. So I'm hoping to read this one probably in November as well. The next book is actually a series, but I didn't want to hold up all of the books. I just have the first one, but it is the Lunar Chronicle series by Marissa Meyer. This is a reread for me. I bought these new paperback editions a couple years ago, I think. I bought them back in 2020. Maybe it was 2021. It might have been last year, actually. My concept of time is gone, okay? 2020 and 2021, they're the same year in my head. So I really want to reread this. I want to annotate it as well, which I think is going to be such a fun time. I love annotating. I've never annotated a Marissa Meyer book, but I just know that it's going to be such a good time. There's going to be so many fangirling moments in here. It's just, I am so excited, but I'm so excited about this. I haven't reread this series in years. The last time I reread it, I think I did it via audiobook, so it's been even longer since I've read them physically, and I am just so excited to jump back into this world, be with my comfort characters. It's gonna be such a fun time. And the last book that I'm gonna talk about today, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This is a book that has been on many TBRs. This is for sure on my 2022 TBR. I just need to get to it, but I'm so intimidated by it because I'm not a huge high fantasy person. I've never read any Leigh Bardugo, so obviously I've never read a Grisha book. These books are so hyped up on booktube and book talk, and I feel like this immense pressure to love it, and so I'm so nervous that I'm not going to, but I really desperately want to because these books are gorgeous. Black sprayed edges, the sequel has red sprayed edges. I need to have both of these in my life, so I'm really hoping that I can read this book in November. I am participating in NaNoWriMo, so maybe putting this on that TBR is not the greatest idea, but I think that's what I'm going to try to read it. If not, then I'm obviously going to try to squeeze it in December. Honestly, I don't know much about this book besides like there's a heist. That's basically it, but I feel like everybody knows about this series by now, so I feel like you don't need to hear a description from me, but I need to read this book. Like, I need to know what the hype's about. Like, I'm ready to take this book off of my TBR. It needs to be read, and I fear that if I don't do it soon, I'm just never gonna do it. So I need to push myself to finally pick up this book, get over all of the intimidating things about it, and just finally read it. So those were pretty much all of the books on my fall TBR. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Comment down below and tell me some of the books on your fall TBR because I'd really love to know, or tell me if you have read any of the books that are on my TBR and what you thought of them. I'd really love to know that as well. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!